Okay, so we're trying to determine who's going to get to drive the car first for the driving portion. Somebody got to drive the Aston Martin before me, and that's been my dream car forever.
To be fair, it's the only car I've got to drive first.
But it was also the coolest car we've ever driven.
That's why I drove
Not just on this channel, but in general, across the board.
Age and beauty trumps youth.
Is that what they call it? Is that what they call it?
So what we're going to do today is best out of 3, rock, paper, scissors.
Best out of 3. I was going to say, we're going one time, we're going 3.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
1, 2, 3, shoot. All right, do you want to count us in?
1, 2, 3, shoot.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Damn.
1, 2, 3, shoot. Ooh. 1. Oh, no, I gotta mentally prepare for this. This is the one. Okay, okay. 1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Yes.
All right. Well, I guess we know.
Big shout out to Bruce Woodring Auto here in Henderson, Kentucky for giving us access to today's car that we're going to review. You can find them online at brucewoodringauto.com or stop by and talk to my friend Sabino. He'll be glad to assist you. I'm Chris. Welcome to GTK Cars. Let's jump right in, right here under the hood. You are looking at the joint venture Toyota Subaru 2.4 liter naturally aspirated flat 4 boxer engine, and it is quite beautiful. And with this you're going to see 228 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. You'll notice we don't have the automatic struts to hold the hood up. We are going to have to use our lever right there. Now if we're done gawking at the engine, we'll make our way around. Starting at the front. You know, personally, I wasn't a big fan of these prior to the redesign this year. I think they just absolutely nailed it with the curves and the lines. I think it looks fantastic. We have LED headlights, turn signals. You got your strip right here. We have functioning vents on the front, which is absolutely excellent. If you're gonna put them here, it's great to actually have them functional, and you'll see that the holes right here, the lower portion of it is the functional part. Coming around, we have our nice big open grille, which if you're looking at it just from the front, I could see where some people may not like that, but I think it actually looks really, really cool. And we have our GR badge right there, which is what we're seeing on a lot of the Toyota models now. Even the Corolla has GR models now. That's really becoming Toyota's performance name. Coming around the side, this is the premium model specifically. There's only 2 models. There's a base and a premium. These are the wheels I would want. I would want the premium model if I was buying one of these, and based on MSRP brand new, premium is only a couple $1,000s more than the base. You get the 18-inch rims over the 17, and I think they just fill it in absolutely perfectly, give the car a better look. We have our blacked out side mirrors, which look fantastic. You got your vents right here on the side. Yet again, they look good and they are functional. We have our lock and unlock feature on the door handle. Fantastic, fantastic shape of this car. This car really does have a nice rear end. We have our LED tail lights with your backup lights here. Actually, no, your backup lights, that's your turn signal. You got your backup lights right down here. I misspoke. These would be for your turn signal. You have the dual exhaust with really nice looking chrome exhaust tips. They look fantastic. Now the biggest thing you might be wondering, if you haven't looked into these too much, is what do you get with the premium model? What do you get for $2,000 over the base model? And we'll kind of just start right here. So we did already talk about the wheels. You get inch larger wheels. You get this extended rear wing, which really gives the back a nice flare, makes it feel more sporty and athletic. I'm a big fan of it. Even on the base model though, with the smaller one, I still think they look great, but this just, it just absolutely perfects it. Coming around, to our little gas cap. I really like the shape of the gas cap. They could have just done a circular one, but they made it this really interesting shape. It's like the it's like your fuel door could actually be a conversation piece. It's kind of like a work of art, the way that they shaped it. And we are going to actually have a cap when we refuel. Additionally, for the premium model, you're going to find a lot of the extra features on the inside. We have Alcantara here in the door panel. Really nice looking door panels. I think it looks fantastic. You're going to get this on the premium model over the base. I'm just not quite sure how this is going to hold up over time. Putting your arm on it all the time, getting oils from your skin if you've been out and hot. How easy is this going to be to clean? How's it going to hold up if it's raining and gets wet when you're getting in and out? I guess only time will tell, but right now brand new, it looks fantastic. The seats have got to be my favorite feature of the premium model. They are such a step up from the base in my opinion. And with these, we have a leather and Alcantara mix. Just absolutely stunning looking seats. We have fantastic bolsters. And I just think the overall style of them is awesome. And then there is also an Alcantara piece above the gauge cluster, which we'll show you in a little while. And we do get heated seats on the premium. So you do get quite a bit of extra stuff on the premium model. And on the premium model as well, not only do we get the 18-inch rims, which look fantastic, but we also get better performance tires. We get the Michelin Pilot Sports. And welcome to the interior of the new GR86. Our door panel, other than just looking good, you have everything you need over here for your window controls, lock and unlock. It's all there. I do think the door handle, it's just a very cheap, even hollowed out piece of plastic. If you're going to try to make the door panel fancy and put Alcantara on it, put a little bit nicer door handle. That is a minor complaint of mine. But on the inside, we have everything we need. It's really nothing to be like, whoa, this is so cool. It's just an interior pretty much, but it's not offensive. We have our 8-inch touchscreen right here in the middle. We do have CarPlay and Android Auto, and I mean, you know, it's a very basic thing, but it does seem functional. You click on it, it loads, it's there. It might not be the fastest or the best system by any mean, and in fact, the way everything is kind of laid out, and like, I don't know, a lot of newer screens in cars seem more, I guess, like glossy. This one's actually, for a brand new car, actually it just has like an outdated look. I'm not saying it is outdated, I'm just saying the design of it kind of looks a little outdated. You do have physical buttons on the sides for what you need, and you also have some buttons on the steering wheel, which is nice. Something I like, it's not groundbreaking or fancy or anything, but I do really like all of the climate control options here. Change your modes right here if you want auto and so forth. I like these. They're very easy to use, they're very clear to read, and what more could you possibly ask for? And we have dual climate control, so your passenger can change their side as well, which is pretty cool. I like that the start-stop button has the GR on it, just to remind you this is the GR86. That's pretty cool. Again, on the premium model, we have our heated seats. You do have two different settings for both of them. You have the low and the high. We're not going to leave that on too long because it's not exactly cold outside. You got your drive modes right here in the middle, your traction button, your sport button. For whatever reason in the world, they gave it a snow mode option. And then you do have your track mode, which turns the traction control off, and it reminds you of that right there on the button. These are pretty good sized buttons. I'm not really convinced that this layout right here in the middle was the best thing to go with, because your center, you open up this center console here and you expect there to be some storage in here, but instead there's just two cup holders and a couple USBs. The auxiliary port is a nice touch. I'm glad they put that in there. You don't see that in a lot of new cars, but you get a couple of cup holders and that's it. Like, where do you put your stuff? And then you have this awkward cubby right here. Do I put a drink in it? Do I put loose change in it? I'm not sure what to do with this thing that's not sure if it wants to be a square or a circle. I don't really know. I'm confused by all of this. I think it could have been laid out better. But something that is really cool is the fact that your center gear shift This is the automatic version. You don't just pull it straight back. There's no button or anything. This is almost designed like the manual gear shift. You push over and then you put it actually into gear. Now the car is not on, so it's beeping and yelling at me. But I think that's interesting, that they kept this like the manual. It looks like a manual until you see over here that it's automatic, and that does make it feel a little bit more sporty. You can shift via the paddles. The paddles actually feel really good. They are plastic, but they're good size. I like that you can very visually see them. They feel good in your hand, or you can actually shift right here with this. You shift forward to go up, backward to go down. I think the gauge cluster, I like that it's all digital, but I think it feels too small. That's the only problem that I've had with it. I think it feels awfully small. As small as they made it, it would have been nice to have also integrated a heads-up display for this car, because I think this area is it just seems so tiny. But it is practical, and it works. The steering wheel isn't anything spectacular to look at, but the steering wheel itself feels good. It's got a squishiness to it. It does feel good in your hand. The only complaint that I have, and it was one of the first things I noticed driving this car over here for the review, it's very thin. The steering wheel may be very functional and feel good to the touch, but it's such a thin steering wheel. I don't know. When you get in a car that's supposed to be sporty and have peppy and fun and go out and tear up the roads in it. I know it doesn't have a lot of horsepower, but I mean, still, you want to go out and have fun in this car. I want a little bit thicker steering wheel in this. This is like less than average thickness, and I'm just not sure. I can't say if I like it or don't like it. I'm really undecided at this point. Maybe as we drive it in the driving portion, we'll draw a conclusion on that. And lastly, I want to point out these air vents over here, which are plastic. And you know, now that you say it, they do kind of, they do feel cheap, but I like the functionality. I mean, you have all this room to move, and then to shut them on and off is just right there in the middle. Really cool air vents. Looks like it has almost like an aviation type theme to it, like we see in a lot of cars these days. A lot of them are inspired by aircraft, and these are certainly no exception. They have that very similar look to them. The dashboard up here is nothing fancy. You have this kind of large ledge right here. If they were going to have this here, it would have been nice if they had kind of rubberized this so you could set your phone on it and maybe it would grip it a little better, but they didn't. I mean, so oh well. Have our glove box here, which is a good size. I guess this is where you're going to be storing your stuff, since there's really nowhere else to put it. Although I will say, since the back seat is not going to be usable, you could always just throw your junk in the back seat. The back seats, while not practical, you're not going to get 3 or 4 adults in this car by any means, but they did follow the same design philosophy as with the front seats. You do have the Alcantara, so they do at least look really nice. But even better, they lay down, and let's show you that. So opening the trunk, you could use your key fob, which is the nice looking key fob. It's very simple. You have your lock, unlock, and then your trunk pop. You could use that, or hidden within this black line right here is a small black button. Push that to pop it, and then it opens right up. So my first question when we started opening everything up and taking a look at this car was, could I actually get a set of golf clubs in here? And at first glance, you're like, no. There's no way to physically fit it in the space back here, because a golf bag's gonna be too tall to fit in here physically. And even if you tried to angle it with the back seats up, you would never get it. But lo and behold, the back seats actually fold down, and they fold down flat, which is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So this way, you could slide straight in a couple of golf bags, and that's actually really cool. That gives this car a level of practicality that is just absolutely amazing for this segment. I think that is amazing. I could drive this car for fun, or I could take it golfing, or I could even take it for a little weekend trip for a few nights stay, and be able to get all of my luggage. Even my wife and I could go and store all of our luggage back here. Whether we have to put the back seats down or not, it's always an option. I really like that.
Well, welcome to the interior of the Toyota GR86.
That's right.
And we're going to get this bad boy out on the road and see how it makes us feel.
See how it drives. We got half a tank of gas. We can go all day.
It's very nice in here.
It definitely feels, from a driving position, it feels like a very small car.
And I love
it
that.
is.
I love small cars.
Yes.
I'm team small car.
And I like that too. Like I said, the one thing I really have to complain about is the skinniness of the steering wheel, and we'll have to see what your take is on that. Maybe it's fitting for the car.
I like them thin.
You like
them thin.
So that's something I've heard in other reviews, is the turn signal. It doesn't stay down when you turn it on.
Okay, so
it pops back up.
Okay.
So if you're trying to just do like the 3 signals to switch lanes and you go down too far, well, then you're trying to push it back up the other way and you're turning that one on to try to get it back in the middle. I can see where that might be a bit of an annoyance. I don't really care for that. And that was just the first turn we took in the car.
Right.
I've completely forgotten about that until I used it.
I don't think it would bother me.
You can see here we are.
Yeah, I don't have
and then we're
that.
turning. So
I'm good with that.
You're the one that complains about so many things in these cars, and yet you're okay with weird turn signal. Because it's weird.
Yeah, is it though?
It is weird, yeah. Tyler, when we were driving to the filming location for the video, Tyler actually sat in the passenger back seat.
Very uncomfortable.
And that was with the front seat moved, where you should have been at least as comfortable as you possibly could be. But you could tell you're not getting an adult in the front seat at that point. So it's one or the other.
And even with the seat all the way up, I did not feel comfortable or safe back there. I had to sit with my bottom all the way to the wheel well, leaning to the center, and my head was an inch or two from the glass.
Yeah, you said it was actually touching the glass every now and then.
If I moved from leaning to up,
because you were leaning,
I was touching. Yeah.
The side mirrors, for a car this small, I actually think they're a good size. They don't feel small for this car. So I think functionality on the side mirrors is fantastic. Something I really like is when you're looking out the back mirror, I don't think you're going to see it on the base model, but I can see that extended wing. And it's just a reminder that it's there, and that's really cool. You can look back and see it. I really like that. And
it's not really hurting your vision behind you.
No, it's not hindering the vision. You can just see enough of it. Like, I got the big wing. So we're just gonna go ahead and put this in sport mode, because that's just where it needs to be. And I think already I can tell, you can tell the throttle response. You could kind of feel the very, very slight shift when I did that. And that's what you want. If the car can't give you that at the very least, then there's no point in having a sport mode button, period. So I will say, to be expected, you're low to the ground in a small car with especially the 18-inch rims. You feel the bumps.
It's not bad though.
It's not bad. These seats, I don't know how they compare to the base seats as far as cushioning you, but
I would say they were probably a little less.
You would think. It is bumpy, but it's not like uncomfortable.
It's
bumpy.
Not jarring.
Exactly. Yes.
They could be a fun daily driver.
It'd be fun daily driver.
MPG.
Good point. MPG is actually pretty much exactly where you would expect it to be. 21 city, 31 highway.
Okay.
I think that's perfect.
I would have guessed 28. So that's probably close.
So you're probably going to average
28.
I would guess you would average 26 to 28.
Yeah, depending on where and how you drive.
Exactly. Yeah.
We test drove the first generation of this, remember?
We did.
Yeah.
We drove the Scion FRS variant.
Yep. And I kicked the back end out sideways while we were going down the highway at like 70 miles an hour. And we both looked at each other like, oh crap.
Because that was stick, wasn't it?
That was
stick. Because I didn't drive that one. You drove that.
I was rolling gears and we were having fun.
So the two things I would have different on this car. The premium package, exactly what I want. Everything's perfect. I would want the color of the outside of the car to be red, and I would want the stick shift version. That's the only two things I would change. Because the red with the black wheels, they just pop against that red.
Yep. Whoop, whoop.
Look, I had that red Mustang for 4.5 years. I didn't get pulled over, and you knew I drove like a maniac back then.
Yeah, yep, on those back roads. I remember we were driving one day, and we were going somewhere, and we got some air, and I was like, nope, don't like this at all. Don't like this at all.
Hey, I was living it up. So I will say, I just kind of crossed the center lane just a hair, and it did give me a lane warning departure. So that's nice. That's a nice safety feature.
That's got a little sound to it.
Really like the sound.
I don't like the off throttle sound.
I don't either. That is really, really weird. I think I might rather shift gears myself than have that. I don't like that. So you throw it in manual, we shift up, we get rid of that noise. So drive it with the paddles or the gear selector, one or the other. I think that's going to be the better way to do it. That's better. It's not a big delay. I can live with that. That's not bad. What I will say is, being as small as it is, and then we went here, I kind of find myself wanting just a little bit more. A little bit more pull from the car, or push from the car, I should say.
It's not a high-end sport car.
No, it's not.
It is a sporty, everyman car.
Being lightweight, I just expected a little bit more. A little bit more.
That's fair.
It's a naturally aspirated engine, and at first you're like, oh, that's cool, because everything's turbo today. You know, it started out with smaller cars years ago, now trucks and SUV, everything's turboed. So it's nice to see something that's not. Should this have been turboed?
It'd been nice. Especially,
and maybe boost that power an additional maybe 40 horses where you could play and have more fun with it.
It doesn't feel special. It doesn't feel special.
See, I disagree. I think the car does feel special. I do think it's a special little car. I mean, it's a fantastic little vehicle. I would have a blast, you know, just driving on country roads like this in it. But on those times where you do want to punch it, I'm going to be disappointed every time. Good sound. I like the sound.
I don't think I'm going to be disappointed, because it's fast enough on back roads and accelerating through straight stretches where you know where you're going and you can see both ways.
I really like the sound. I like the sound without the sound of a turbo in there. I do appreciate that.
But how much better could it be?
I know. I'm kind of thinking, and I didn't think that prior to actually driving it, but now that I've driven it, I do think it could use a turbo.
Yeah.
So, same thing we did before on the Bronco. I actually cut it out of the video so we never posted it. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what would you say on this?
My money?
Everything all together, the style of it, the driving experience, everything.
5, 5.5.
I actually expected you to give it a little bit higher.
I think I'd rather have an older Miata over this.
And you know, what's interesting is I would actually be right there about the same. I don't know if we've agreed on the car as much as this one.
Yeah, I don't know. Not at least recently.
In terms of overall rating anyway, because I would probably also say a 5, and I actually expected to drive this car today and absolutely fall in love with it. I thought it was going to be like an 8 or a 9 for me, because it's
which is not bad.
No, I mean really, that we're saying it's just right there. I mean, it for the right person, it's gonna work. It's not super great, but it's not terrible. While you were in the store getting a drink, I cranked the radio a little bit.
Okay.
Was actually not impressed with that either.
Yeah, I don't think it would be. I think this is something that you might want to. You're probably going to install aftermarket audio.
I would definitely recommend doing that. Upgrade the speakers, because I wasn't impressed with that. It's so sad, because I wanted to love everything about looking at this car And I mean, reviews online, generally speaking, are great.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a bad car. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying my expectations, I think, were so high that I'm finding myself disappointed because I just wanted so many little things. I wanted a little bit more, and it's just not there. If you don't focus on the fun of getting to speed, and you just have fun with the car once it is to speed, and you do go through some of those corners, you know, a little bit faster, I think that's where the playfulness of this car is really going to shine.
I would hope so. And it's tricky to do, like I said, in not your car, not your roads.
Right.
But
we're trying our best to to experience it so we can explain it. But all I can go by is the fact that the acceleration is a bit of a letdown in my book. But I can tell from the steering, and it does still have a general peppiness to it, but I can just tell that at speed, you could have fun on some country roads. It's not bad. I do have to say, when you're doing that, I think I'm also having more fun as a passenger. When I was driving it, it felt underpowered. As a passenger, it's just fun. So So our conclusion is,
have your friend who you trust drive it.
God, not him. Have your friend buy this car so they can take you for a ride. He or she can take you for a ride in it. As a passenger, it's fun.
It's better.
It's better.
It's better.
Yeah.
As a driver, it's almost disappointing. For me, it's.
I never thought we'd be.
Woo!
I never thought I'd say that about this car. You'll have more fun riding in it than driving it. I can't, because I want to love it. And you know what? If I owned it and I got used to it, I probably would. I think this is a very special, really cool car. I'm glad this car exists.
Oh yeah, this
price point. I am so glad it exists.
So, thanks for joining us today on GTK Cars. I've been Tyler. I almost called myself Chris.
You used to do that all the time.
I do.
I've been Tyler.
I've been Tyler.
What are you now?
That's a question for another day. So, we've come to the conclusion. 2002 Toyota GR.
2022.
2022. I do that frequently too. Does it matter? Does it matter? After 2020, I think all time just kind of went out the window.
It's true.
Out of 10, this is no better than a 5.
No worse than a 5 either. I mean, it is a very solid fixed 5.
Yeah.
That is better experienced as a passenger.
Yeah.
And we both are in agreement at some point.
This is not the car for me.
And as much as I thought I was going to love this car today, I'd have to say the same. It's not the car for me either. I would love to have a friend that had one of these, maybe drive it occasionally if they would let me, but I would be perfectly happy sitting right here letting them drive it.
Yep. And with that, you know what they say, Chris? Drive it like you stole it. Put the pedal down.
Just you threw in your own.
Yep.
You skipped half of the original. Does it matter? Does anyone make it to this point of the videos anyway?
I don't even make it to this part in the video. Thanks for watching.
Well, we'll probably cut most of this out.
We'll catch you next time. I'm Tyler.
I'm Chris.
And this is Get to Know Cars.
Stay safe.
Stay fun.
Forget it. We'll see you next time.